Hi everyone. We are
LaChiMoLaLa.
LaChiMoLaLa. And we are back with some EXO content. We are finally diving into that music catalog. And we're going to start with some pre-debut tracks, What is Love and History, both the Korean and the Chinese version.
Yeah, so huge thanks to an amazing XOL. I feel like all these XOLs are coming out and helping us and, enjoying the EXO journey ride. So, Le Music Fun, thank you so much for sending this wonderful playlist because we're going to watch all the music videos in chronological order. A lot of XOLs recommended that we should just to see the progression. And
Makes sense
so,
since they have a very defined universe, it seems like.
yeah, precisely. So Priya Darshani was another XOL that recommended that as well. And so we're like, sure, we're gonna do it. So here we are.
We're starting that mission today.
Yes, with the pre-debut songs first. So I'm really excited to listen to actually any of their music because
I feel like we only really know like two songs.
yeah.
So this is gonna be like a real haha history lesson.
Ah!
Oh, and we're kind of thinking the best format. We're gonna watch both videos for one song and then stop and talk about it, and then watch both the videos for the next song and stop and talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, sounds great to me.
All right, then if you are ready, I see a moody barn that is calling our names.
Before we enter the Moody Barn, you guys please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue on enjoying the EXO universe.
Woo!
Yes.
All right, so this is What is Love music video for EXO-K first.
Okay,
Here we go.
perfect.
Girl,
Oh,
Ooh.
I can't
so
explain what I
shiny.
feel.
Who's ad-libbing right now?
Oh yeah. My baby,
Huh?
baby, baby, baby.
Oh, look at Light.
하루가 마치
Ugh.
꿈처럼 멋지게 만들지. 너만 있으면 영화 속의 주인공. 널 보려 달려가는 액션씬이라도 찍을 것처럼 난 마치 영웅이 된 것처럼 넌 내게 완벽 상상해보았어. 함께라면 어떨까 yeah. 난 너만 괜찮다고 말해주면 모두 완벽해 Oh baby I lost my mind 너를 처음
Oh,
만났을 너
I wonder, are they all in this video?
가슴 같은 slow motion 내게 말해줘 이게 사랑이라면 매일 그대와 수많은 감정들을 나눠주고 배워가며 싸우고 울고 안아주고 내게 말해줘 이게 사랑이라면 세상 남자들 모두 날 부러워해 너를 가진 내가 질투나 죽겠나봐 해가 가고 달이 가도
Ugh.
절대
I love his voice so much.
No, I love how they already have like their symbol on everything.
Mm-hmm.
넌 알게 될 테니까 I don't know why
Oh,
Jeez, Dio. Dang.
어쩌했을까 내 곁에 있을 때 난 점점 대단한 남자가 되고 빛나는 걸 I lost my mind
I
너를 처음 만났을 때 너 하나 빼고 모든 것은 getting slow motion 이게 사랑이라면 매일 그대와 수많은 감정들을 나눠주고 배워가며 싸우고 울고 안아주고 내게 말해줘 이게 사랑이라면 간절히 바라고 바란다면 이루어질까 동화 얘기처럼 영원한 둘만의 해피 엔딩 happily ever after oh,
Ugh, gorgeous.
I lost my mind. 너를 처음 만났을 때 너 하나 빼고 모든 것은 getting slow motion. 내게 말해줘 이게 사랑이라면 매일 그대와 수많은 감정들을 나눠주고 배워가며 싸우고 울고 안아주고 내게 말해줘 이게 사랑이라면 세상 남자
An eclipse.
너를 가진 내가 질투나 줬겠나봐 baby 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 널 알아보는 걸
Oh, I like that. The reflection.
널 자주 웃게 만들고 친구처럼 널 가장 편하게
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Coming out swinging with tenors.
I know. Wow.
Interesting. Let's see.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yes.
I wonder if it's going to be slightly different. I mean, besides the words.
Girl, I can't explain what I feel.
Oh baby my baby baby baby
There we go.
Oh,
Different singers.
Yes.
漫长的一天，仿佛就像短暂一秒的感觉，每天都像是为你写下的情节，就用浪漫爱情片下一幕。
Oh my gosh, Chen. What?
我扮演你心中唯一英雄，你如此完美，突然我期待陪你走向的未来。别把爱藏起来，抓住幸福，只要你能坦白。Oh baby。I lost my mind。当你走进我视线，就在你周围，整个世界 getting slow motion。请你告诉我，如果这样就是爱，爱无所不在，会让我忘记相爱，分担被爱，学习关怀。
I like that their outfits are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
请你告诉我，如果这样就是爱。当我牵你手，全世界羡慕不已。当你吻我，才懂这感觉也不会更改。他们说的天长地久，也许已不在。当你可醒来，我是不顾一切去爱你的人，你将会慢慢明白。I don't know why，
Ooh.
这感觉无
Oh my gosh.
爱是突如其来的意外，你让我变成倔强男人，只要在你身边，生命变得光彩。I lost my mind， 当你走进我视线。
So it looks like this has more dancing in her.
Yeah.
请你告诉我，如果这样就是爱，爱无所不在，会让我忘记相爱，分担被爱，学习关怀，超过哭过还能拥抱。请你告诉我，如果这样就是爱。今夜我想请你拉开窗帘，对着星空许下一个心愿，像童话故事里幸福结局 ，Happily ever after。从今以后，为你付出，为你心疼，为你等待，我绝不离开，只想给你我一生的爱。I lost my mind， 当你走进我视
I'm so mesmerized. That's why I'm not saying anything.
世界 getting slow motion， 请你告诉我，如果这样就是爱，爱无所不在，会让我忘记相 牵你手，全世界羡慕不已。当你问我才懂，这感觉不会更改。My baby 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 baby， 我无法不想你，是否这样就是爱？只想让你笑得像个纯真小孩，只想给你安慰，像个朋友般的依赖。
Excuse me. Jeez. What?
Wow. Whoa. Okay, what'd you think about the song?
Yeah, you know what? Like the song, it's R&B vibes. Like I totally love
Yes.
R&B.
It is very, it's a lot less K-pop and more K-R&B.
Yeah, which I feel like back then in you know, in this time period, there wasn't a lot
Third
of
gen.
that. Yeah, well, they're the beginning of third gen, you know.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
So they're probably kind of like carving out a new sound for the next groups, right?
yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. That's how I feel, you know. But quite honestly, I wasn't around for the beginning of third gen, to be like
Mhm.
very honest. But if you
Me
quiz me,
either.
if you quiz me on the first gen and 1.5 and beginning of 2, then I could
1.5 gen, go!
Yeah, but this is really cool. I'm glad that we watch both music videos because it's really interesting because I don't know, I came into this pretense thinking that all the guys would sing. And
Yeah.
you guys, we took notes because we know that during the guides, you guys kind of parsed out like who's EXO-K and EXO-M. And so like for us, like I was like, okay, so for EXO-K, you know, like I was looking forward to Suho, Baekhyun, Chanyeol, Dio, Kai, and Sehun. And for the EXO-M or the Chinese version of it, you know, we were expecting like Chris, Xiumin, Luhan, Lei, Chen, and Tao to all sing. But it's really interesting that they started with like an appetizer where it's just 2 guys
Yeah.
singing the whole time.
And I was a little confused just because I wasn't expecting to see people like Schumann in both videos.
Yeah.
He's in both videos, K and M, but he didn't sing. I was
Yeah.
just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, if they just wanted to, like you said, give us a little appetizer, be like, here's 4 guys with really good voices. Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait. That's kind of what happened, I feel like.
Yeah, so this is interesting because it looks like they're kind of setting up their whole like universe right now, you know. Like you said before, you know, like you said that you liked how they started branding like EXO like on their, you know, in their music video, like on the
Theo's
kite.
like wearing that necklace.
Mhm.
Was it who was the other singer with Chen? I think it was
Okay,
is it Lao?
it's
Luan?
we think it might be Luhan, but I definitely know for sure it's not Chris. Because okay, you guys, let's be real. We did not see a thorough individual guide of all of the Chinese members.
No, not for
So
EXO-M. We really only saw
yeah,
guides for all the people who are still a part of the band.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, the ultimate guide just briefly went over the 3 guys. So I know for sure it's not Chris, because Chris was the one that was
And one of the guys does like
yeah.
the martial arts.
Yeah, that's Tao. That's
So
Tao.
I think
No,
you're
for
right.
sure.
It must be
Yeah,
Luhan.
yeah. So,
But he had like a big brooch of it. And then,
mhm,
yeah, it was on the RV. It was on the kite.
mhm.
You know, yeah, I like how they're already setting it up. Also, I'm assuming, but of course I don't know yet, that the person who was picking up like pieces of stone tablets in the barn, those all had different like symbols on them. I assume
Mhm.
those probably correspond to, you know, I don't know. I was thinking it would be like an alien Rosetta Stone or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, you know?
just based
Yeah.
on the little bit we know about their world.
Yeah. So, but Okay, so let's talk about the Korean version. Oh my gosh, the ad-libbing DL in the
I
beginning.
know.
I was like, oh my gosh, what? Oh.
I know. If the goal was to really show off individual members' voices, I mean,
Hmm.
this certainly did that.
Yeah, and Baekhyun,
Please.
please. Like, I mean, even though it showcased only two members, like it really sucked me in, because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
And I
gosh,
felt like, Kai got a time to like really shine.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was of course interested. Again, I think you're right that like this is kind of just to like you're not supposed to have any answers. This is just like you want to know more. So it's
Yeah,
like, why are they on a road trip? Why are these guys in a barn? What's happening? Like, I
yeah,
literally, what is happening?
yeah, like
But I really think that was to draw you in to keep you coming back.
yeah, and it's just like so interesting too. Like they had like a scene too where like there's like an eclipse, and
Mhm.
then you see one of the members' eyes had like a
Lay.
like, oh, was that Lee?
Yeah, that was like,
Yeah, of course you would know.
I noticed.
I love that little eclipse in his eye, and
Mhm.
so that
I
was
really
really
loved the
cool.
reflection on like the
Ah,
water where the two guys were standing.
yes, yes.
And also just for like the song in general, I really like the guitar in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really interesting. I like how it like looped back and forth. That to me also was giving me an R&B vibe, not just from the tempo, but the sound of it. It had that like warm, slidey sound. I
Mm-hmm.
know that I use weird words when I'm talking about music, but that's what I think, like to
Yeah.
me, it's like a visual, tangible thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that definitely leaned into your R&B vibes for sure. I mean, if it hadn't, the ad libbing wouldn't have worked, and the ad libbing totally worked.
Yes. And I love like uh I mean the
Mhm.
sultry vibes too. Like, ooh, you know. Yeah, I mean,
I did love when they
I
sang
enjoyed it.
together too. I
Mm.
really liked hearing them harmonize,
Oh my
and
gosh, yes.
even though it was only two, I still like hearing the layers. So,
Yeah.
it was very powerful. I have no idea what they're saying. But it was like you could tell they were making a statement with the song that came through loud and clear.
Yeah. And same thing with Chen and Luhan, like they harmonize
Mhm.
so well together.
Really
Okay,
well.
Chen, please, like, oh, I
And
guess I
I
mean
love that
like,
they didn't
oh,
copy, like they didn't both sing the exact same thing. They were free
mm-hmm.
to ad lib and do what they wanted. So each version
Yes.
was more, yeah, nuanced to their vocals.
Mm-hmm. 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 And so yeah, I could see why that Chen is labeled as one of the main vocalists. Like, my
Heck
gosh,
yeah.
his
He was like barely
voice.
breaking a sweat.
I know, like easy peasy, man.
Right? I could do this all day. And like you said, it's amazing to hear when someone sings in another language.
Hmm.
And I mean, it sounded like he had no accent compared to the other guy. So I was
Hmm.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, to get that like perfect harmony. Just amazing. They sounded real good together.
Yeah, and we said this before, and this goes across like all fandoms, like when we see, you know, like an idol speaking like in another language, like English, Chinese, in this case Chinese,
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, major props to
Yeah.
Chen,
Yeah.
so
And even though you
it's
can sing in
hard.
another language without knowing it very well, check out some opera singers. It's not like they learn every language. Sometimes they
Hmm.
just learn what their piece means.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, you can tell with Chen because the emotion he has behind it that he definitely understands what's happening,
yeah,
what he's saying and what he's supposed to be like communicating to us definitely reads.
yeah.
I thought Dio looked the most tortured. He was giving me a lot of emotional vibes. I mean that in a good way. I mean, this
Oh,
song is obviously a passionate like song.
yes, it is.
And then I thought Chen also was giving like a lot of emotion in his too.
It's like
Everybody sounded really, really good.
I feel like it's like actor Dio coming out,
Coming
like,
hot.
yeah,
Here we
I
go.
know, I know, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mean, like, we both really enjoyed this pre-debut song.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing history now. Lay it on me,
right?
girl.
All right, here we
Lay it on
go.
me. I mean,
Oh,
no pun
see,
intended.
that's that thing that they made at the end of the other one.
Ah. So I wonder
It's like,
if they're all gonna sing now. They have to, right?
I hope so. Yep.
Oh, baby Kai.
Yay! I missed you, Shaniel.
Oh, look at the cool stages.
I know, it's like they're on their alien planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're in their ship.
욕망의 반칙 Move it 파괴라 믿어
Ooh.
Magic 시간이 가면 또 씻은 듯이 다시 재생돼 시공간을 뛰어넘어서 에덴의 아침을 꿈꾸고 있어 가자 우린 그런 존재
It's a very different vibe from the first one.
Yep. I like that.
The rhythmic part, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is EXO-M.
Mm-hmm. Get it, boy.
And now they're all there, right?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm.
It's a pretty good product placement there.
Right.
All right. History. EXO-M version.
Woo woo.
Listen 感觉到没有我的心脏停掉了节奏 My heartbeat 谁曾经愤怒的掉落生死后一步向以后 My pain 被苦变灰的眼流的蓝的天让围在上边冲泡沫 break it 不长久的鬼 Move it 让谎言作废
Is the dance slightly different?
Yes, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah.
洗净了伤悲这是一个机会
Ugh, so hot.
时间的为什么没过度的光辉会让我们趁机收费原地踏步多么久这真心的只是点燃这是我不可以都击破放弃在我绝对没路路过我梦里分两头不是他也把你提这个我将我这个世界都利用 I need you when you want me take your place the city 让时间你上心头开始转变的时候 Turn it up 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 你什么都寄望可以永远所有都退去到下一个明天
Okay.
明天以后没有未来你说的只有回本都会进来才能
I really love Chen's voice.
I know, it's so good.
抓住爱的手，爱的手，爱的手，越爱越完美，暖热这颗心。
Oh.
我想带着手，或许别都优秀。我们奔向同一个地方。拥抱住唯一体的单身的瞬间，只看着时光中也一个人的世界。渐越来越远，和你分隔是两边，太阳不需要分界线。One more, two more, three, four more。这一瞬间已经寄望一触碰绿完美世界。现在开始跳动，此时跳动。徘徊多么久，这真心的只是点燃这是我。EXO-M EXO-K，打开我们的未来 history。我梦里分两头，不是他也把你提这个。同一颗心脏太阳下，我们连线无限的延长线。I need you when you want me，take your place the city。Every day，我创造了 history。
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. So another debut track, and quite honestly,
Pre-debut.
a pre-debut. Sorry. Wow. Thank you for correcting me. I'm really glad this second song showcased everyone. You know.
Yes, me too.
So
The
I
first
was.
song's beautiful, but I was just like, well, what about everyone else?
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm glad that they had this song, yeah, that showed both all of XOM and then all of EXO-K, you know? So that's awesome. I don't know about you, but I'm actually really enjoying the two different versions. It's really interesting because you get like a different take from it, even though it's like the same song, you know? But before I get into that, like, let's talk about the song.
Yeah.
Okay. So the song is, to me, it feels very retro. It feels like very, this sounds weird. It feels like New Kids on the Block like influenced them a little bit, you know? Like it has
What?
like
What
like,
part?
I don't know. It feels like an 80s vibe to me a little bit.
Okay,
You know?
okay.
So I mean that's what I meant, the whole 80s thing. You know? So but yeah, that's what I meant when I said that it sounds, you know, pretty retro to me. And so which is fine, you know, I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I there's that rhythmic part that you're talking about. It sounds like
Yeah.
sounds very strange. I'm gonna use a weird analogy. It sounds like gunshots, but it's not. You know, or like
I was
a nail
thinking
gun.
it's probably an electric drum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It very much sounds like that. I feel like that's also why you're getting like 80s vibes, because they kind of like fell out of fashion for a while, but they sound cool. They're just a very different sound. Yeah. I do think it seems like they're making a real effort to make this track sound a lot more electronic, which ironically can sound like the past, because the 80s was all about the future.
Yes.
So it's like weird. It's like a future past like melding kind of. And this definitely does give me that sort of vibe. I thought the chorus is really catchy. I mean, I can still hear it in my head, and I've only heard
Mm-hmm.
the song twice,
Mm-hmm.
and it was sung in different languages.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the chorus was really catchy, and I feel like we finally got a chance to see all the members shine. And I did think it was interesting how they included everybody in both videos, but then, put a spotlight on who was doing all the like singing and dancing based on the group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing like like in that EXO-K video, you saw like a really quick snapshot of all of EXO-M like towards the middle, and then you have the
Yeah.
reverse in the
Hmm.
EXO-M video of all the EXO-K members, like
Right. And then they're all
yeah,
together at the end.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, like I like that.
It's obvious that they are two bands, but they're also one unit, which
Exactly.
is very, I mean, it's kind of weird to like for me to wrap my head around because I just don't know any other bands that operated like this. For all I know, there's 100 guys. Sorry,
Yeah.
don't know my heartstrings. But I'm a third gen, fourth gen girl, okay? Late third gen, real late. But yeah, so I was just like, whoa, it's very interesting to me because it's obvious that they both, again, just like the first song, it's obvious that they both are allowed to have their own styles and their own takes. I mean, the dance is different, the way they ad lib, the way they kind of change up the melody even a little bit. And
Yeah.
like the rap's completely different, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's not like either band, it doesn't feel like one of them's doing a cover. It feels like it's their
Exactly.
own song,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's the same song, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same song, but they all had like a different take to it, which makes it
Yeah.
like when you watch it back to back like this, you have like an appreciation for it,
Hmm.
because it's like, oh, it doesn't sound exactly the same. Like that guy
Yeah.
is not singing exactly like Dio,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
which is like really cool. Like it kind of it's like they kind of had their own, you know, freedom,
Hmm.
to,
It's like
uh
they have their own interpretation of the song.
yes. Mm-hmm.
And because of that, of course, it sounds different because they're not the same guys.
Yeah.
But they managed to each, I like that it's obvious they were all getting the same amount of money
Yeah.
because they were each able to produce something that fit them. I feel like a lot of times, if it's a cover, it's like kind of like done on the cheap and on the quick. Whereas this was obviously a song written for the whole band that then they could like, what's interesting to me was as a person who comes from theater, I can kind of see how they're double cast, just means, I go on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you go on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, but
Mm-hmm.
we're the same part.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can now, I feel like between this video and the last video, it's like, okay, that guy's the Baekhyun, or that guy's the Chen, or that guy's the Chan Y'all, that guy's the Lay. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting, like you can see the parallels. Although we're not a huge fan of these labels because we think these guys do everything. You can
Mm-hmm.
see who's supposed to be the lead vocalist, the lead rapper, the sub vocalist. It's
Mm-hmm.
when you see it back to back like this again, you're like, oh, okay, this is how they divided it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought the rapping part was very interesting, because I felt like the Chinese version, like
Hmm.
the rapping was a little bit more powerful than the Korean version, but the Korean version sounded very melodic,
Hmm.
so two different like
Very different.
raps, two very different rap styles,
Hmm.
but I enjoyed both of it, again, it goes back to like the whole interpretation of things, and
Like I was kind of surprised because it seems like Lay's like the Kai. And I
yeah.
was like, really? Because, sorry guys, I know his solo work. So I was like, why isn't he rapping? Why isn't he
Yeah.
singing?
Yeah,
I
and
mean, he does, but I honestly thought he was going to be the Chan Y'all. So I was like, what's going on?
yeah, Kai did a little bit of rapping in the Korean version.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not
So,
in the parts that I feel like, because we've really only seen the guides. This is obviously they're still figuring out who does what best or who's the most comfortable with what.
hmm.
I mean, there's going to be some guys who sing, but of course, there's going to be some guys who switch it up.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
early days, and in the best groups, you kind of, it takes a little while to gel.
yeah.
I mean, these sound great, and it's
Hmm.
obvious that they're working as a cohesive unit, but just because you're good at rapping doesn't mean it's necessarily your best thing, you know? So
Yeah.
I like the fact that they obviously weren't pigeonholed where they like could never try other stuff,
Hmm.
which is really cool. And yeah, but I was just like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, what's happening? Oh my, oh what? Wow.
Yeah.
I was surprised, honestly, because there were some people I thought for sure would be doing one thing who were doing a couple things. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Yes. And I also felt like these videos also showcase more of their dancing as opposed
Yeah.
to What is Love, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, there was some dancing in there, but this is like a whole team effort of
Yeah.
dancing.
This is that
So,
synchronized dancing that, let's be real, if you're into K-pop, you kind of love, and
mhm,
you hope to see a little bit of it. I don't
yeah.
need it all the time, but it's super fun.
Yeah, so this showed like another color to them, you know? It's like,
Mhm.
yes, we have amazing voices, but guess what, you guys? All of us can dance, you
I was
know?
so worried too when I was like, is this dance a little different? Like I totally thought I was being
No,
crazy. I was like, is it me or is this a
no.
different dance? Like
So,
I wasn't expecting it to be that different. Like for the I knew the song interpretation would be different, but I wasn't expecting a whole other dance.
yeah, the choreography was definitely different, you know? So,
At least for the major part of it. They still had the pocket
yeah.
shaking, but like there
Mm-hmm.
was lots of differences.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, very, very interesting songs. Like
Yeah.
I love I love it all.
And I'm going to say something very controversial about their fashion. I like a drop crotch. I do. I like a drop crotch pant. I honestly like it on myself. So I like it on other people.
I think they what
Um,
do you call those? Like parachute pants?
those aren't parachute pants.
Parachute pants or
Those are
hammer
drop
pants?
crotches.
I mean,
No, those are drop crotches.
I've never heard of drop crotches
What? It
before.
is an actual thing, and most people hate them. It's where your crotch is almost between your knees, but their pants were skinny on the bottom.
Aren't those parachute pants? I
No,
guess
girl.
not.
No, girl.
Okay,
Hammer
then what's
pants are harem pants that are tight at the ankle.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, you see it now in your head. You see it now.
Yes.
These are drop crotch. They're skinny on your calf, but very loose in the upper part.
Well,
They're
I
good for
learned
working out, girl.
uh,
Get some.
I learned something new today,
I don't work
y'all.
out, by the way, guys, so it's hilarious that I own some.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're
I
like super comfy, but I feel like they're very polarizing as a style.
mm,
Um, I know a lot of people who are very anti, but I kind of think they're like an interesting, fun thing. Like, so I
yeah.
was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, look at their pants. Love it. I know, so random. Sorry, guys. I just had to throw it out there. I like a
That
drop
is
crotch.
that
Enjoy.
is amazing. I've never heard of that before. Learn
Learn
something
something new
new
every
every
day.
day. Oh
Now I
my
feel like I
gosh.
have to like go back. They weren't really so much in XOM. I felt like they were a lot more in EXO-K. Oh wait, gosh. Come on, back on. Look at these. Look. You see what I'm
Got
saying?
it. Okay.
Look, that is a drop crotch.
Ah,
See how it's tight down here? But like the
yes.
crotch goes almost to your knee.
Ah, okay. I
And
don't
look,
know.
here's one back here.
I don't
Here's
know
another
why I thought
one.
it was parachute pants. My bad.
That's cool. Yeah,
All right, cool.
that's a lot of drop crotch.
No. And no, that is not good for working out, and I work out. No.
Oh, really? It seems like it would be because it's so comfy.
No.
All right.
That's a big no.
I mean, I don't work out, so I bought them thinking I was being very sporty.
Fashionable, yes. Working out, no.
Oh, that's debatable. I swear I hear people talking about me when I wear them. But anyway, this is like a very long tangent, guys. But yeah, I was like, whoa, you can tell, I feel like this is a huge fashion contrast from the other one.
Yes.
So again, they are obviously, exploring, experimenting, as you would expect a band to be doing in the early stages like this, but it's still fun to see. I personally love to watch a band's growth.
Yeah. And can we talk about the stages as well? Like the one that you have paused right here. Like I feel like it's owed to their logo, their
Yeah.
EXO logo, which is like really
It's like
awesome.
kind of deconstructed and thrown around. You can see the logo back here.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Yeah.
this part too, it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah. It's
Again, I feel like this is the spaceship and the other part's the planet. Guys, I'm
yeah.
probably reading way too much into this. It's just I'm
No.
fascinated by the
It
backstory.
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Look at this wasteland.
Wasteland.
Come on. Look at that.
It is. It is.
Well, I mean, it's smoking. There's just rubble. I can't tell
Yeah.
if that's a sun or a moon. I don't know what's going on. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if I lived in a bombed out wasteland like that, I'd go to Earth too,
Yeah. Or save the world.
or
You know?
whatever. Yeah, maybe this is what we'll become if they don't come save us.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Oh.
Interesting. It's just
It's
very
really
interesting.
Yeah.
There's obviously, I agree with you. I feel like there's like a lot of like Easter eggs that are probably things that once we're like 12 to 20 videos in, we'll be like,
Ah.
that's what that meant. This all feels like a lot of foreshadowing.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like these two music videos are connected, clearly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
But again, the production value, the stages, the outfits, I mean, very lavish. I wouldn't expect this kind of money to be spent pre-debut.
Yeah.
They obviously like putting a lot of stuff behind this train, and they're expecting it to do well.
Yeah. So, but fun fact from the XLLs, they said that can you believe that EXO was actually considered a flop initially?
Really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. So, which is like really strange,
Not from
you guys.
pre-debut though, right? Pre-debut I assume so after the rookie year, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. If I'm
Wow.
understanding
I wonder
this
if
correctly.
again
Please
that's
correct me, XLLs. So
I'm wondering if maybe that's like a cost, like a overhead versus intake kind of a thing.
I mean, could
Is
be.
that purely a numbers thing, or was that like a sales thing or a fan thing? I wonder.
Yeah, I'm really interested. It could be both,
Mhm.
which is interesting for me because, like, the amount of money that you spend on a band, like the recording costs, like there's
Mhm.
so much recording costs for like a music video. There's so much money that is funneled into recording the music, of course, hence recording costs, and everything else that entails with it, you guys.
And even just like marketing, like posters,
Yeah.
like airtime,
Yes. Yeah, marketing.
adverts.
Yeah, marketing costs are a lot
Mhm.
of money. But again, I can only speak for the American side because I know the American side. So, but I could imagine the same thing with on the
That's why I'm
Korean.
just kind of surprised, like coming at it from like a numbers angle. No, that's not true. Coming at it from a company angle, this just seems like a lot of dough. Which is why I'm like, okay, they really believed in this band. They were
Yeah.
like, this band's gonna hit it big. And I do want to point out the Korean version of History has 90.3 million views.
That's crazy. Wow.
That's like really insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, now I want to know what the EXO-K has. EXO-K has 17.9. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if maybe
I'm wondering if this also was like on 1-2K2. Sometimes they have like
yeah.
music videos on another platform too. I don't know why. Maybe it's some sort of contractual thing, clearly. But
well, and I'm very curious, did they market both bands in both countries, or did they specifically keep EXO-M, for the mainland, for Chinese mainland, and then this, and then EXO-K, was that predominantly for Korea? Or did they get like equal time in both places? I don't know. Still new, still figuring it out, guys. Still learning. But that's another thing too, like, because it's basically one group that's two groups. So
yeah.
it would, I mean, you'd almost wonder, how do you equally give them both the same amount of, marketing and just like FaceTime.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I can't think of another band that has done something like this where they market specifically for another territory like this.
Mhm.
Like one huge band and then split out. Okay, we're not talking about NCT because that's like totally different because it's
Yeah,
related all to
yeah.
Korea. But they have
And it's
like
not
a
like they're just
subunits.
dropping a
Yeah,
Chinese album.
yeah,
It's not that either.
yeah.
So yeah, it's
So
very interesting. It's like they have gifted specific like these are your members.
yeah,
These are your members.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
just yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder again, from a purely company point of view, I'm just like, whose idea was this?
yeah,
How did they convince someone to do this? And why haven't they done it again?
yeah. It's well, I mean, now the political thing that happened,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, that's
So
true.
I think that's why
But
they don't do it that
there's a
way.
lot of K-pop bands that have, let's say, Japanese members. You know what I
True.
mean? So where's EXO-J? I'm teasing, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
there, or like a Thailand version, or you know, a Thai version, or whatever. It's just this is a very, it's just a really, it kind of blows my mind. I honestly, before EXO, had never heard of something like this.
Yeah.
Without it, to your point, being all the members doing everything.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I wonder if they were able to like double. I mean, you're doubling down on your overhead, but hopefully you get double the profits, right? Because EXO-K can be on tour and EXO-M can be on tour. I don't know.
Right. I mean,
potentially, I could see how you would pitch it that way.
Yeah. It's all very interesting, quite
Yeah,
honestly.
super interesting.
I mean, you guys, is there a case study out there? There has to be a case study. Like
somebody
I
has written a master's thesis on this, right?
Know, yeah.
I guarantee you. We just have to look hard enough.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
This is really interesting.
I'm sure EXO has been studied in college by now. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, from that standpoint too, it's not just, I mean, I'm interested in the music and the guys, of course, but then also to see how these two groups evolve and then eventually merge is going to be really fascinating, I think, for you and I, just because, you know, we're more used to seeing the behind the scenes stuff, and I've just never seen anything like this behind the scenes. So America would just not, I mean, they just wouldn't splash out this kind of dough. I mean, they just wouldn't.
I would say back then they would. You know, back then they spent
what is this, 2014, 2013? Maybe. Yeah, because album sales were worth a lot more.
Well, see, albums. Okay, now I'm going to give like a whole history lesson, but I don't want to get into it because I think don't get too deep, girl.
Don't get too deep. But yeah, I guess you're right, because it wasn't just concerts like it is now, really.
Because if you think about it, if you guys look at what year Spotify was born and Apple Music was born, it's quite recent, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, physical albums, I mean, in the digital.
And even when those were born, it still took like, what, 7 years for them to really catch on?
I mean, in 2008, you know, was still the digital download era, meaning like you buy
Napster.
You were buying a track that it was like $1.29. I mean, this is American prices, you guys. I only know American. Or 99 cents, you know, like it started off as 99 cents, then I got bumped up to 129. But a lot
of people didn't want to pay per track. They were like, it's cheaper to get the album.
But then you have streaming that came along, and streaming, it's like, well, okay, you could stream your specific song and you don't have to purchase, you know, a digital.
And it's always there, so why buy it?
So then you have like Spotify that joined the game where it's like, oh, you're just streaming, you don't have to buy? Okay, we'll just stream, you know, and like you can listen to your favorite track on repeat. You don't have to wait for the radio, you know, like for the songs.
That was the big thing, I feel like. You didn't have to like request stuff to be played. It was always there.
Yeah, so physical albums, you know, were already dwindling, you know, it was starting to dwindle. You know, it was still existent in the 2000s for sure, you know,
but like 2010,
and then
2011 maybe it really started to like
and then you started to see like, oh, there's more. First it started off with digital downloads, you know, and then it just evolved into streaming, and now in America it's it's predominantly streaming,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's heading towards that way, like across the globe,
If you want
so
something physical in America, you buy an LP, you buy a record.
yeah,
If you want photos and a lyric book, you buy a goddamn record.
yeah,
Which is
yeah.
insane.
So vinyls are a huge thing in America now, like it has been for the past few years. So that would be like the predominant physical thing,
Vinyls
whether
like
it's
double every year, the sales, pretty much. It's crazy.
It's
and that is for
insane.
people like us who like something physical. It's like the difference
Something
between a book and an
tangible.
ebook. Yeah. You can't smell it, you can't touch it. It's it's there, but is it? And again, for streaming, you're always like, oh, it'll always be there. Yeah, until that artist decides not to let them use their music anymore.
Yeah, and again, a good primary person for this would be Taylor Swift when she pulled it all down from the DSPs, which are digital service providers. So I'm getting technical, sorry guys. But yeah.
But I see what you're saying. At this point, they were still splashing out a lot of money. But still, this is a new band.
Yeah.
I would expect this for like an established artist, but this is a new band. I just think it's pretty, I think it's awesome. It's just really insane.
It just really depends, because like, okay, again, American side. So when you do these types of things, like you kind of just, there's like this whole calculation, when you take a risk on a band. So you have to see like their worthiness and stuff like that. So
they obviously deem them worthy.
Yeah. So there's like a whole calculation that goes into like, okay, well, and so many factors as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the earlier, I want to say like in the American side, like in the 90s and stuff like that, like y'all, you should see how much was spent like on just one record.
That was like commonplace then though.
That was totally commonplace. But in this case,
but this it already feels like we're kind of getting out of that era. It's interesting.
It's really interesting.
We're like on the cusp here.
Yeah, because like I'm not sure about the Korean side during this time, like in 2012, like how other platforms were affecting it, because for us as Americans, Spotify was a huge thing. Spotify.
Well, I wonder, like, when did Melon start?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like that would be something interesting to look into. Again, I guarantee you somebody wrote their master's thesis on this. We just got to do a little more research. Luckily, Tammy loves research.
I do. Yeah. So now I gotta like look into this,
Yeah. It's just interesting. It's just because of where we've worked, we tend to look at it from both angles, the artist perspective and the company perspective. And it's kind of fascinating. And again, you have to place, like you said, you have to place it in the context of the time and what was going on. But I mean, it's very obvious to me that they were like, this band will be a hit. Bam.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to hear that they weren't considered one. So
it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, like,
I'll be really interested to see how that plays out in like their videos.
Yeah. I think it's in I don't even know which track. Maybe Growl was when things started to shoot up. But like, I think their debut track is Mama, if I could. I mean,
that's next.
Yeah.
Mama is next.
Yeah. So that's their debut track. So but apparently they didn't do so well on that. I'm not even, that's crazy.
We've got Mama, Wolf, and then Growl.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Which is very crazy because
look at him now.
Yeah, look at them now. I mean, like, I feel like music is like television. Sometimes you have to let it grow a little bit and not be so judgmental in the first single, because like, you
shouldn't cancel a show after 3 episodes. If you greenlit it for 12, do all 12.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, this is weird. I'm going to use Big Bang Theory as an example. Like,
that is weird.
Yeah, I feel like that sitcom blew up after a few seasons, and that is the common norm for television. Music, on the other hand, I feel like they become more prominent the more music that they release, like,
Mhm. I feel like it's
and
also a word of mouth thing,
yeah,
like the more, if I tell 5 friends and all 5 of my friends stream it and they tell 5 friends and all, it's more like a pyramid scheme.
yeah,
But yeah, music I feel like is much more like a TV show takes more time to cultivate, but music
mhm,
I feel like with blogs and all that kind of stuff, it can shoot up
yeah,
in like a month
yeah,
if it's really buzzy.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
So I do feel
Yeah,
like I can see why they want more. I feel like companies like this, they want more of an immediate return.
yeah,
Um, Unfortunately, there's TV execs who
unfortunately.
do too, and it's like, dude, get into the music biz. This isn't
Yeah.
what we do here. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just really excited to, based on what we've seen so far, I'm really excited to see like how it will evolve. I just
yeah.
think it's going to be really fascinating for us because we've just never seen anything like it, which I'm
No.
sure is XOL's whole point. Never seen anything like this,
Yeah.
have you?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes, yes. And I feel like EXO is, one of the bands who are like game changers,
Mhm.
for, obviously for a lot of bands currently now. So, or part of the third
Sometimes when
gen.
you're the first person to do something, it doesn't make a big impact right away because people are like, what?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's only when they look back that they're like, oh, damn. I mean, I feel like this is a band that other idols are like, oh, I wanted to be an idol because of EXO.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I mean, I could name one right now. Taeyang from SF9.
true. True. So to be that kind of an inspiration, of course, you have to shake things up. You have to be
Yeah.
different and do things differently. And it's already obvious that they're going to.
Yeah, yeah, which is like really cool. So, yeah, really, really excited on this EXO journey and listening to more of their
Yay.
music.
Yay.
So, yeah. Oh, wow. We really went off tangent about like talking about
Yeah, we did.
music industry.
Sorry about that,
Yeah.
guys. Sorry, no,
Hope,
sorry.
hope you guys found that interesting. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for joining with us. We really, really enjoyed these 2 tracks and listening to the 2 different versions. I mean,
Mhm.
amazing. And again, special thanks to XOL Le Music Fun for she is my spirit animal, by the way. So and we both have the same MBTI, but crazy. But anyways, sharing way too much. But if you guys read the comments, y'all all see our like exchanges. Wow, I'm getting really off tangent. But anyways, you guys, if you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And we are
LaChiMoLaLa.
and we will see you guys next time.
안녕.
안녕.